Week 7, Lesson B. Our goal: analyze and interpret graphs to describe the relationship between quantities in a situation. Use differences in the characteristics of graphs to match graphs to given situations. I'm going to be reading you some stories, and you're going to try to basically pick out the picture or the graph that matches. We're going to do a warm-up. We're going to match a graph to a story and tell why. We are going to be listening to more graphing stories today and doing a lot of matching, and then I'll have a closure question. An announcement: this week you're going to have a lesson A and a lesson B. Both are lessons. You'll have your cumulative review, and this week there's no quiz or test. Our warm-up: a family is driving from Brooklyn to Philadelphia. Which of the following graphs would you use to represent this situation? There's graph A and graph B. Now explain your reasoning. Why did you decide to pick the graph you chose? So here are some of the possible answers for this situation. For A, you could have said that this was the distance from home over time, because the distance as you travel, if time is on the bottom of your graph, as you travel, your distance is getting greater from home. And then B could possibly be the distance to Philly over time, okay? As you think about getting closer and closer to Philadelphia, if that's where you're traveling to, as you approach the city, your distance gets closer. I want you to take a look at this worksheet that I have put with your Ed Puzzle post. I want you to go in and open this worksheet using Kami. And I'm going to have you record all your answers on your worksheet. I'm going to go through and read each question, and I would like you to read along with me, and you can try the examples. Then I am going to go over the worksheet and correct it with you so that you can correct your worksheet and cite the correct answers. You're going to be selecting the graph that best represents each of the following situations and explain your reasoning. Situation 1. Mary works at the supermarket and makes $10 per hour. So I'm going to ask you to pick if this matches graph A, B, or C. And you need to read what's happening with the independent and dependent variable. Along the x-axis, it is the number of hours worked, and the money earned is the dependent variable. Then something is happening with the lines. The lines start, or the graphs start, in different spots. And some are connected and some are just dots. So I want you to try to reason out. Pick a graph and tell me why you picked the graph that you did. Situation 1, graph C best matches situation 1 because in 2 hours she makes $20. Possible to have partial hours and money. Situation 2. Alma has a summer job mowing lawns. For every hour she works, she makes $6. She also charges a base fee of $10. Would this match graph D, graph E, or graph F? Why did you pick the graph? Situation 2. Graph D best matches situation 2 because you start at 10 and it is continuous. the line is filled in. You keep working and earning more money. Situation 3. During flu season, Dr. Kamar sees more patients than usual. On Monday, Dr. Kamar treated 3 patients for the flu. On Wednesday, she treated 12 patients for the flu. On Thursday, Dr. Kamar saw 24 patients. Would this match graph G, H, or I? And why did you choose your answer? Situation 3, graph G best matches situation 3 because patient is not related. Okay, so you can't have a continuous graph, so the lines can't be connected. And the coordinate 424 is relevant to the story. So if you look at graph G, this is what we call a discrete graph because the line is not connected. A graph like H, if this would have been the answer, is called a continuous graph. Situation 4. Mark sells ice cream at the pool. One day, when the temperature was 92 degrees Fahrenheit, Mark sold $132 worth of ice cream. The next day, it was 84 degrees Fahrenheit, and Mark sold $116 worth of ice cream. Mark notices that for every degree the temperature rises, there are 22 more people at the pool. On the day that it was 84 degrees Fahrenheit, there were 112 people at the pool. Would this match graph J, K, or L? And why did you choose the graph? Situation 4 best matches graph L because there's no pattern known, not related to the number of people at the pool. Okay, so you would just match up those 2 coordinate points. That's the only information you could graph on the graph paper based on the amount of information given in the story. Situation 5. Alfred adds ice cubes to a glass of water to make it colder. The glass is 14 centimeters tall. It is already filled up to 6 centimeters with water. Each ice cube he adds raises the water level by 2 centimeters. Would this match graph M, N, or P? Why do you think it matches the situation? Graph P best matches situation 5 because each ice cube is not related. Okay? Your exit ticket or your reflection. What is the difference between these 2 types of graphs? Be sure to include descriptions of the types of situations or stories you might see represented by each type of graph. Graph A is a continuous graph and describes situations like earning money based on time. The more time you spend working, the more money you would earn. Graph B is discrete and it represents situations like ice cubes being dropped in water. The ice cubes are not related to each other. So A would be a continuous graph, B would be discrete.